Yep.
What's going on, guys? Jags Nation here to bring you another video. And today we have a special guest, John O'Leary, also known as Jags Fan Cave on YouTube. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be on and just ready to talk about our Jags.
All right, we have some really good topics that we're going to go over. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Let's do it.
All right, so Urban Meyer and the Jaguars front office, they just finalized their coaching staff. Now, looking at the whole coaching staff itself, who is your favorite hire that Urban Meyer made?
Honestly, I'm going to start at the very top. It was the first hire announced from Urban Meyer. It was assistant head coach Charlie Strong. When you look at Charlie Strong, he's had success everywhere he's gone as an assistant. He's been great in that assistant role. He recently just won an award for being one of the best assistants, helping that Alabama defense go to their umpteenth national championship. He won two with Urban while at the University of Florida, and was actually the only assistant retained whenever Urban Meyer came into the University of Florida. And so, not only that, I think that bodes well to the relationship between Urban and Charlie Strong, just how well they work together as a tandem.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely a huge Charlie Strong fan, and I think he's going to help the Jaguars out and tremendously, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Working with the outside linebackers and working with
Oh
Miles
yeah.
Jack and Joe Schobert. But for me, I chose Joe Colin due to the fact that with that transitioning more to a 3-4. I think
Hmm.
he's really going to boost his defense and, get them to where they need to be. I think he's going to get the most out of Josh Allen and Chase Young and also whoever else would bring in free agency. And I think, he also kind of brought his other coaches, assistants, from Baltimore. So I think you're going to have a new swagger, I would say, for the defense and something we haven't seen since 2017.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I hope so.
All right. So let's talk about a little bit about free agency. If you had to do like a prediction, like three players that you think the Jaguars are 100% going to sign, who do you think they are?
I'm going to start off with somebody that pretty much everyone has had going to a team with a ton of cap space, and it's Trent Williams out of San Francisco. He's just been an absolute mauler at the left tackle position his entire time in the league. Honestly, he had a hiccup in Washington with his coaches and his team doctors, but once that got figured out, he's honestly just been. He's an eight-time Pro Bowler for a reason, eight times straight. He only had four sacks in all of 2020. He only had 10 penalties. That probably automatically leads the Jaguars
No
off the
kidding.
bat.
No kidding.
And it's just you want to talk about somebody to protect Trevor Lawrence's blind side. You go for the best available. This is not a position you could be cookie cutter at. It's you want the best of the best, and Trent Williams right now is the best available left tackle.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, you look at Trent Williams, yeah, he's like 31, 32, and he probably has 3 or 4 years left, and that's it. But those 3 or 4 years are crucial for Trevor Lawrence. You don't want him to what happened to Joe Burrow, get hurt, his first year, and man,
Hmm.
you don't know how Joe Burrow is gonna come back from that if he's gonna be scared in the pocket and all that. So you definitely want to make Trevor Lawrence definitely comfortable his first few years.
Absolutely.
So, what other free agents do you think the Jaguars might go after?
I think the team's also going to look at shoring up the secondary. The secondary was almost a laughing stock last year. We were constantly trotting out Wingard. That was just the revolving door of jokes and memes about Andrew Wingard celebrating when the team's down 30-3 for a tackle that he had to recover from. And I believe the safety position's a position they're really going to look at. And just like not Trevor Lawrence, Trent Williams being the best at his position. I believe Justin Simmons out of Denver is the best position at his position in all of free agency. In his career, he's had 16 interceptions, been in the league for 4 years. That's great as a safety. He's averaged 90 tackles in his last 3 years, which honestly bodes very, very well to his ability to play up closer to the line of scrimmage, but also to play back. 37 passes defended, which, like I said, bodes for his ability to play the pass as well, not only as playing in the box. And to cap it all off, Justin was a 2019 second team AP All Pro. That, top four in your position, you can't go wrong with that. And him being available, I believe the Jaguars are going to throw a bunch of money at him and say, come on down and play in some teal and black.
Nice, nice. I would love to have Justin Simmons. I mean, he would definitely boost that secondary. I mean, he would just make CJ even two different positions. He would make him a lot
Hmm.
better. You look at Jared Wilson. I believe they both play free safety, but Jared Wilson, I know he can transition to strong safety if they want to. They want to keep him still, or even if they go for a rookie at strong safety as well. Justin Simmons though would be like a home run hit, and then he would definitely boost his
Oh,
defense
yes.
up. Do you have anyone
Absolutely.
else?
Absolutely.
Do you have any?
Yeah, I've got one, and then I've got a long shot I want to talk
All right.
about too. Dalvin Tomlinson out of New York. He's a defensive tackle. I believe that he is definitely the second best defensive tackle on the Giants right now with Leonard Williams. But unfortunately, I don't see Leonard Williams really escaping New York without a franchise tag being thrown at him. But I do believe Dalvin Tomlinson does escape. He hasn't missed a game. He was buddy. Excuse me. No, he wasn't. I'm getting my years mixed up. But he was on the 2017 All Rookie team. He hasn't missed a game since his rookie year. He's been very, very consistent. He's averaged 50 tackles a year. And especially with the team potentially going to a 3-4, you do want a big space eater in that middle of the defensive line. And he's 6'3", 318 pounds. He's definitely just a massive human being to really stuff the center of the offensive line and clog up those holes to prevent running backs from getting through.
Well, I would love to get someone like that, especially, like you said, he's only missed one game, I think you said. So that's something.
Hasn't missed any game.
Oh, hasn't missed any. So, I mean, that's something the Jaguars have always struggled with, was injuries. So if we can get someone here that's going to play, not even 16, they just play 15 out of the 16 games, that's something I would take in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. And for my long shot, we were talking about him a little bit in pre-show. Von Miller, is still up in the air. He hasn't officially become an unrestricted free agent yet. But all reports coming out of Denver say they're not going to pick up that huge contract option, which I believe is $17.5 million, which if he were to get that in a Jaguars uniform, awesome. But I just don't believe the Broncos with their cap situation are going to be able to afford that. And I believe he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And when you look at him, I mean, he might be 32 going into this next year, but averaging 12 sacks a year, 20 quarterback hits since 2014, averaging almost 2.5 forced fumbles a year. And honestly, he's like the quintessential outside linebacker for any 3-4. And when you talk about having, Josh Allen, who's been playing 2 years in a 4-3, I believe Von Miller is the perfect outside linebacker to show both Caleb Von Chason and Josh Allen how to play as that outside linebacker in a 3-4. And I believe he would fit perfectly in Jacksonville.
Oh, man, that would be awesome if we get him. He'd also bring that veteran leadership. And like you said, 3-4, especially with us more likely transitioning 3-4. He's been in that system his whole career, basically. So it would definitely help Josh Allen and Chason out quite a bit.
Absolutely.
My three guys, the first one I went with Malik Hooker. I think he would be an underrated signing. Now, The positive with Malik Cooker is that he would be cheaper than obviously Justin Simmons, Anthony Harris, someone like that. He has an Urban Meyer connection from Ohio State. He played at a high level at Ohio State. Now, the negative with Malik Cooker is that he can't stay healthy. 2017, he got hurt halfway through the season, and this past season, 2020, I believe he got hurt in training camp, didn't play the whole entire year. But beginning of 2017 and also 2018 and 2019, he was playing at a high level. He always had the eye for a ball. And I think I could definitely see he would be cheaper, like I said. And I think Urban Meyer might grab some players that he's familiar with, and it would help, that he has that connection with already. The other player is Matt Judon from Baltimore, obviously with Joe Colin coming here, and they run a 3-4 and all that. So I think Matt Judon can definitely come here. Now, similar to like Von Miller, be that veteran. He is like 30 years old. I think he's averaged like 8 sacks. I think it was like the least amount of sacks he's ever had was like 6 sacks his whole entire career. So, so he's definitely productive. Not the best by any means, but I think he definitely bring that veteran leadership, and also he would know what Joe Colin wants in this system on the defense side of the ball. The other player is Curtis Samuel from the Panthers. Obviously, another Urban Meyer connection. Like I said, I think Urban Meyer might be one of the players that he's familiar with, help that easy transition. The only negative I have with Curtis Samuel is that he kind of reminds me of Visca. They have the same role, kind of gadget players, whether they're lining up in the backfield, slots. So that would be the only negative. I think he would be cheaper than someone like Allen Robinson or Galladay. So those are my three I think the Jaguars could potentially sign.
Heck yeah. The only problem with me with Curtis Samuel is, like you said, he has the exact same almost like play style, and he pretty much plays the same position as Visca. That would be my only concern with Curtis Samuel coming in, is like now you have two people vying for the exact same position, and one's getting paid a lot more money than the other, so you got to play him. It almost feels like. Yeah,
I agree 100%. Let me ask you this: would you trade the 25th overall pick to the Ravens for Orlando Brown?
No.
Yeah.
I believe that there's probably going to be a lot of good left tackles at the 25 position that can just perform to an adequate level, and that can become almost an Orlando Brown type. Because you look at Baltimore and they have I believe they ran 60% of their plays were
Yeah,
run
that was
plays
insane,
here.
man.
And you look at that and it's like, okay, well, we're probably going to be a passing team, and so we only got 40% of snaps to look at. And it doesn't Baltimore's offensive line doesn't exactly stand out as the greatest pass protection offensive line in the league. So
Yeah.
you look at giving up a first round draft pick, and then also you're gonna have to pay him a bunch of money. He's gonna want left tackle money, which is it's got to be $15 million a year.
Yeah, I think
And
I mean, if you're talking about, if he wants good left tackle money, I think Trent Williams is going to want 20 million a year. So he's probably looking around 18, 20 more likely.
and the positions we can fill, I mean, because Cam's not going to get that money. Cam is going to be looking at franchise tags him like 13 and a half, 14 on for left tackle. So no way do you, in my opinion, can you give up a 25 and then potentially another pick, which they're probably going to want a third to go along with the 25th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't do it.
He's my fourth option. First one was Trent Williams. The second one was drafting someone at 25, left tackle. Third one was either tagging or re-signing Cam Robinson due to the fact that, he's very inconsistent, but when he has his good games, he is very, very dominant.
Exactly.
And he,
the devil,
And like you said, you can tag him. And maybe that's something maybe the Jaguars do, because Urban Meyer said the offensive line is not that bad. I mean, I personally think the interior offensive line is very underrated, with Andrew Norwell and Brandon Linder and AJ Cann. I think it's very underrated. But with Cam Robinson, I think, like you said, 13 million, you can tag him, and then next year you can get your left tackle if you want, if that's the direction you go. And then obviously the fourth option would be Orlando Brown. So he's the last resort, I would say.
Do you have any opposition to tagging Cam Robinson and then drafting at 25 an offensive tackle?
I would be okay with that, and I would maybe even consider letting Cam start obviously that 1 year, and then let the rookie learn behind him. I was also thought about this. What if you sign Cam and you can convince him to possibly play right tackle? I know this is a far stretch. He plays right tackle. Juwan slides to right guard.
Oh man.
I know that's far stretch.
Cam to flop opposite. Oh man, that is if that happens, whoo! Urban Meyer is working some voodoo magic in the Jaguars offensive.
I do think Jawan Taylor he needs to take a big step forward though, going into his third year, because he showed some promise his rookie year, but last year he was the worst one on the offensive line, hands down.
I 1000% agree. Hopefully it was just a bit of a sophomore slump, kind of like I want to say like Cam had, but really his 2 games in, he was done for the season. But hopefully he's just a mediocre sophomore slump, and he comes back just as good as he was his rookie year.
I mean, he has the skill set and the size to be a great right tackle. So I hope he just takes off. But if not, I guess we'll be talking about right tackle next year in free agency.
Hopefully not. Hopefully.
All right. So what about, let's do like a 2-round mock draft. How about that?
Let's do it.
Like the first 4 picks. I'll let you let's do the first round, and then we'll go to the second round. So who do you got for your first 2 picks? I don't even think we need to talk about the first pick, honestly.
For my first pick, actually, I have Mac Jones out of Alabama. No, I'm kidding. Of course, it's Trevor Lawrence. Pick speaks for itself. So we'll just been consensus number 1 pick since his freshman year. That's far gone conclusion. Number 25, I have Trayvon Merring out of TCU. I noticed in your mock draft you just recently uploaded, you passed on him for the safety out of UCF. I believe Trayvon he's that dude. We talk about Justin Simmons being able to play up in the box, and then also being able to play almost as like that cover 2 safety, being able to play over the top. I believe Trayvon is that guy. He put up insane numbers, pass defense, and then also just being able to light up those explosive Big 12 offenses. Everything about him just screams just all-star in 2 to 3 years, and I believe he'll have an impact he'll be an impact starter the second he joins the team.
That's definitely something that the Jaguars need. Like you said, we talked about earlier with free agency, you bring either a free agent safety and then you draft him as well. Man, that's already a dangerous secondary.
Absolutely.
So for me, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, no need to talk about that. He's the consensus number 1 pick. For me at 25, I went Christian Barmore from Alabama. I think he's that big guy. He can definitely work in the 3-4. Some people are going to say, he only had that good, championship game. But, most mock drafts have him potentially even going top 15. So if he slides at 25 or, still there and the Jaguars haven't in free agency, fixed the defensive tackle position, I'm all for getting him.
Absolutely. You look at him, he's almost like a Caleb Von Chason, where he played his best when the bright lights were on, and it got him paid. It got him picked 21st, I believe, last year. So maybe it's not out of the realm of possibilities that a couple good games to end your career in college can get you picked early.
Yeah, and then it can be good and bad in the sense that he came out and played his best game. That when the game matters. I mean, he
Hmm.
obviously wanted to play good all year round, but if we're in the playoffs and that's when he shines, what I mean? Like, I'm all for that as well.
Absolutely.
So who do you got in the second round? Those two picks.
I'm gonna start off with number 33. I have Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. I believe he is one of the there's that top tier of offensive tackles in this year's draft with I believe Leatherwood and Cosme. I believe those two are long gone before in the first round, and I believe Eichenberg falls into the second round mainly because of his inability. Sometimes he had sloppy footwork. Many scouts are saying, and I believe he is a first round talent. I believe he just does slip out of the first round. Many almost like a Jawan Taylor did whenever we selected him, where there was good talent at that position, but other teams just needed different things. And sometimes players fall down draft boards, and I believe Liam Eichenberg is that player that will fall down the draft board, and the Jaguars scoop him up at pick 33.
I'd be all for that as well. And even if we get Trent Williams, you still can draft him. Trent Williams probably only played 3 or 4 years, and he kind of learned underneath him, and then you go from there.
Absolutely. And then at 45, I have I'm a little skeptical on this pick. I don't know if he's going to make it this far. I've seen mocks taking him up as early as like 20 and 15, and then I've also seen some mocks where he falls all the way into the third round. It's a tight end out of Penn State, Pat Fryermuth. And now you don't earn the nickname Baby Gronk by doing nothing. He is just a beast. And when you look at the tight end position, you either have your speedsters, or you have your big tight ends like a Gronk essentially. And I believe that the position is more suited to be someone like a Gronk than a Darren Waller. And when you look at Pat Fryermuth, he's just that guy that you can go to in the red zone on the 3rd and 3 when you need to get that down. And I believe he would be a great addition to this Jaguars offense and fill the hole that we've honestly had since Mercedes Lewis wasn't 35 playing in a Jaguars uniform.
Yeah, we're talking years down a
Exactly.
long time ago. I'm all for drafting him. I'd even be okay with drafting him at 33, but if he falls that far, I'm definitely cool with drafting him. That's a steal in
Absolutely.
that position. Also, I believe his tight end coach is now our tight end coach.
Yes.
So you have that connection already, and I think you'd definitely be familiar, working with him. And I think he might be pushing Urban to possibly draft him.
I hope so.
Now, I'm like in my mock draft I had, I'm all for drafting a tight end, but I also want to get one in free agency as well because you need that 2 tight end set. You need 2 tight ends. You need 2 good tight ends for the most part. I mean, our best one in my opinion is James O'Shaughnessy. That's who I think our best tight end is, and I think I'm cool with keeping him, but he's only a number 3 tight end in the league. He's not number 1 or number 2. You don't know about Josh Oliver. The dude has played 2 snaps in his 2-year career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then also Tyler
ridiculous.
Eifert. Tyler Eifert, I think we can cut him and save 6 or 7 million, something like that. And
do it. Blast him into the sun.
yeah, so I definitely like those picks. For my second round, pick 33, I've seen this guy mocked somewhat in the late first or late second. I want Asante Samuel Jr. I think he has a skill set to be a good corner in this league. I think him and CJ would definitely be a good duo. I think he can cover very well. Obviously, I think most people, that name, his dad played in the league for years, most notably with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then also for my other second round pick, I went safety. I went Javon Holland this time. Out of Oregon, and I think he can definitely help transition to a better secondary. I don't think he's going to be as good as the safety out of TCU, but he's definitely another good option.
Heck yeah, I'm with it. I can get down with. I can honestly, as long as there's 2 names I do not want to be heard, and it's Brevin Jordan out of Miami. I don't think he's good. I think he's just a massive wide receiver playing at the tight end position, and then Kadarius Toney. And hey, you didn't mention those names, so I've got no qualms with it.
Yeah, that tight end out of Miami. The only way I'd take him is that somehow we didn't draft the tight end. He was sitting there in the 4th round.
Exactly. Yeah, he's the same thing with Kadarius Toney. It's he's in. Oh wow, this guy fell to the 3rd round. Cool, let's take him.
Yeah, I agree. So do you think the Jaguars are going to make any trades before the draft, whether they trade their own player or trade for a player? Do you see anything happening or potentially?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that the Jaguars actually move quarterback Gardner Minshew. There was a couple teams in the Carson Wentz sweepstakes with Carolina's itching to get Deshaun Watson. Chicago was really, really pushing to potentially get Carson Wentz. Thankfully, Indianapolis ended up with him. Cool, they can go back into the realm of mediocrity. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there's a team that comes along and says, "Hey, I'll give you a third for Gardner Minshew." That would be a reach at giving up a third for a quarterback that's only won 7 games in 2 years. But at the same time, you look at it and he said you can essentially say he's like a game or two under 500, and he was playing on a 5-10 or 5-11 and a 1-15 team. What has he really been playing with? And you can almost have the Jimmy Garoppolo effect where it's almost you're almost betting on the unknown, except you have a little bit of a known with him being a game or two under 500. And I definitely think that there's going to be teams that are calling for Gardner Minshew. Now for the team trading for a player, the only team I can really see them wheeling and dealing with is the Baltimore Ravens with Orlando Brown. I hope they don't, but I don't think it's out of question to say that they haven't had conversations about him.
Yeah, I can definitely see Gardner getting moved. I mean, you talk about teams, when they need a quarterback, they will do anything. They will trade multiple picks up. They will, they will reach. When a GM loves a quarterback, they will reach so hard for someone. And I can see potentially Gardner Minshew getting traded to the Chicago Bears. I think Gardner, he's a Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I think he can be pretty decent in this league, but he needs a perfect system. He needs a good offensive line, he needs a good running back, and he needs good wide receivers. If you look at these elite quarterbacks, they don't really need all that to, they make their receivers look good. Gardner needs his receivers to make him look good. So definitely, I'll be cool getting a third from him. We took him in the 6th round, so I think if you get anything better than a 6th-round pick, it's a win.
Absolutely, that's an immediate return on investment. Yep, be down with that.
And for us trading player, obviously, like you said, Ravens, Orlando Brown. I don't like. He's probably, like I said, like my 3rd or 4th option, but I can potentially see it. I'm going to go with a sleeper right here. I don't think it's going to happen, but look out for maybe Marshawn Lattimore, the corner from the Saints. They need cap space. He is, I believe, on his 5th-year option. Remember, he played with Urban Meyer, Ohio State, and I don't think they can afford to re-sign him after this year. So potentially maybe look at the Jaguars trying to trade for him. If we did, I'm not giving up a 1st-round pick, but I would give up a 2nd-round pick for him.
Do you give up 33 or 45?
If it's just one pick, 33, but I would consider doing 45 and like a 5th or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. I want to first of all thank you for coming on. And,
absolutely.
Talking some Jags football. Now, where can all these Jags fans or other fans that are watching this video, where can they find you at?
You can hit me up on Twitter at Jags Fan Cave and the exact same handle on YouTube. I'm actually planning a possible giveaway here pretty soon, so make sure you subscribe for that. And I upload almost weekly, usually sometimes twice a week. I'm trying to get it to where I can do a live every week as well on YouTube. So make sure you're following my Twitter and subscribe to my YouTube channel for everything that I put out.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and put a link to his Twitter below, as well as a link to his channel and a link to the video we did on his channel like a few weeks ago.
Heck yeah.
Other than that, go Jags.
Go Jags.